So I'm going to pass it on over to Ajani Carr, who will be leading us through his workshop on youth empowerment. Welcome,
All
Ajani.
right. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you guys again. I'm very happy to be here. It's an honor. So like she said, my name is Ajani. I'm 18. And I do a lot. I'm an artist, I'm an actor, and I'm also an advocate for the uplifting of our community and the empowerment of the youth inside of our communities. So a little bit about myself. Um, I grew up really to start all the way from the beginning. I grew up really in love with the arts. I love drawing. I love writing, and I love music and movies and TV shows. So everything that kind of has something to do with an artistic expression, it just stuck with me from a young age. So I always seen different movies and TV shows and different people who perform, and I just wanted to know, how does that stuff work? And how can I be somebody that has the same type of effect on another young person that these people had on me? So when I was really, really young, like a baby, my grandmother, she took care of me a lot. A lot of people know my story already, but some of you guys might be like, who's the dude? So I'm gonna just explain it a little bit for you guys. I was born in Melrose Park, Illinois. I grew up in between Chicago, the west suburbs, and also Madison, Wisconsin. So shout out to everybody in Madison. Um, and I grew up pretty much a similar life to a lot of people. I know a lot of people can relate to me. I didn't have all the money in the world growing up. We didn't always have all the resources we needed, but my mom, she was a great mom for the age that she had me. I'm 18 now. My mother had me at 17, and I think about if I had a child right now, that it would be difficult. It would be really difficult. And my grandmother, she had a lot to do with taking care of me and watching me and just making sure I was straight while my mom worked and tried to put food on the table. Now, my grandmother, she went back to Chicago. We were in Wisconsin at the time. She went back home and she was murdered. And that obviously sent us through a lot of struggle. As I said, my mom had me at 17 when this happened. She was 19. So, just imagine being a kid with a child and you're trying to figure everything out with no real guidance or help behind you. So, my mom, she's a really strong lady. We just had a conversation last night. She was telling me that, she feels like she's a light because when darkness comes, she tends to prosper through it. And that's exactly what she did. So back to, my interest in the arts and everything. My mom was always really supportive of me in that. She always wanted me to know that I could do anything that I set my mind to. So around the time I was in fourth, fifth grade, we ended up relocating out of the Midwest to the South, Georgia to be specific. And I just started to work on trying to get through and trying to start being an actor. Now back home, we ran into a lot of scams and a lot of different struggles because we didn't have the guidance. Anybody tell us this is the right way to do things or this is the way you go. So, when we eventually moved down to Georgia, I started doing acting classes. I started to do a lot of networking at a young age and just really learning the business and starting to put my feet forward and working hard. So fast forward again. Now, like I said, I'm 18. When I was 13, I actually started a nonprofit called Building Bosses. And what I wanted to do was the same thing that my mother did for me, is to let youth know you can be as prosperous as you want to be with the passions you have. You can take what you like to do and things that you're interested in and make it, a career of yours. And um, through starting that, I ended up doing a lot of public speaking. I ended up doing a lot of community outreach, starting events for the community, um, going to different schools and community centers, and just connecting with people. And through that, I learned a whole lot. I learned that you know starting nonprofits and being in the community, it can be pretty tough. It can be a uphill battle. And I also learned that the youth don't get as much support as we should, and that's why I feel it's important to do things like this and to talk about the power we have and the worth we have, so that everybody can know somebody's there for you and you can be there for yourself too. So now, that's a little bit about me and everything, a little bit about how I got my start and all that. So, I just today the main focus that I want to talk about is mindset. How do we train our brains to be strong enough to keep going when things are tough, to keep staying faithful, keep staying hopeful about what we can do in our futures and our presence as well. So, um, I want to just start off. I know a lot of people are in the chat active right now. I just want to ask everybody, and I'll keep going. I'll tune in while I'm talking, but I want to ask everybody. What's something you're passionate about? What's something that you like to do? Something somewhere you want to see yourself in the future? You know, who are you? Just let me know in there. Now, uh, again, I got a big start with acting by just working hard and really learning from the ground up. Now I've been on several different TV shows, movies. I actually just my first feature film that I've been in just came out. It's called Judas and the Black Messiah, and I urge everybody to go check it out. It's amazing. It's about Chairman uh, Fred Hampton from Chicago and his journey, and it's I don't even want to talk about the whole thing if you haven't seen it yet. Just check it out. But yeah, I've been on All American, Atlanta, FX, Chicago PD, just to name a few. So with that being said, you guys, I told you guys about my background. These things that I'm doing now, it's not normal for everybody that grew up with me. It's not something that everybody could see in the future, and that's why I urge everybody to keep going, and I urge everybody to really hold on to what they want to do, because even if it's hard to see it, even if it's like this is something different, you can do it, and it is possible. I came from a background where we became very accustomed to loss, became very accustomed to violence, poverty, and all of these things. Tell you shouldn't even be in this spot, but if I can do it, then you can too. So let me check out. If anybody, let's see. I'm extremely passionate about consent. As a young man born from sexual assault, it is extremely important to me. And it's important to me too. I'm very glad you're serious about it, because more people need to be serious about it. Consent is an important thing, and not even just sexually, but just giving people the respect and the time and patience to be like, is this all right? Is this cool, before just acting on things? It's very, very important. So I'm glad you focused on that. Um, so yeah, I want to talk about how we can, keep going forward when things get tough, because that has been my journey. That's been who I am, and that's something that I want to spread to everybody else. So again, I see you guys are super active in the chat, which I love. So I want everybody to comment about something that may be a obstacle for them at the moment, or something that may be holding them back. They feel like from going forward and doing the things that they want to do. Now, me personally, as I said, I grew up with a lot of struggles, but as I started to do a lot of community outreach, I started to move around and really see how everything works. Like I said, I learned that, everything isn't as simple as I thought it was. There's a lot of slam doors that shouldn't be closed at all for the youth. There's a lot of people putting together youth-based things that have nothing to do with the youth at all. We're not involved, and I want to put a stop to that. I want us to be in positions where we can have a say and where we're going in the future, because we are the future. Everything that we do is going to shape the world. Last time we were on here, I was saying that something that keeps me hopeful about the future is knowing that every young person coming up after us, the young kids, 6, 7, the ones that love TikTok and all that, they are gonna be the ones to shape what's going on in the future and what's going on when we get older. So it's very important for us to carry out these healthy, practice these healthy things and show the youth that, you should be positive about yourself and you should pour compassion and love into the people around you as well. Um, so one of the things that, I struggled with a lot was just a simple thing of losing hope, just working hard, and sometimes things, it feels like nothing is paying off. It feels like you're just running and running with no real destination. um, and sometimes we need to refocus and regroup and give that space for ourselves to feel okay before we can pour into everybody else. And that's another important thing I wanted to touch on today: being good and being loving to yourself. Sometimes we gotta take those breaks, and sometimes we gotta let ourselves know, okay, I know if I keep going and I keep doing this the way I'm doing it, I might just burn out. So let me chill for a second. Let me drink some water. Let me breathe and let me regroup and figure out, remind myself, why did I start this in the first place? What's my intentions and what I'm doing. Doing those things like that, I can go a long way, because I see a lot of people struggling because we go through so much in the community. We go through um, a lot of issues that we should not go through as young as we are, and we should not go through it all, really. Um, and being that exists, a lot of us, we want to take those things away and we want to build a better future for ourselves and the people around us. And in doing that, it can be a struggle, it can be a fight. um, when we talk about issues like racism and police brutality, you know it's not always as simple as you may think it is. One thing that I learned that changed my whole perspective on things is that we can do a lot locally, um, that can change the whole globe, that can change the whole nation, the way that the whole world is operating. So we have mayors, we have aldermen, we have these local officials that we elect, and these people have a lot to say in how our specific areas and our specific communities operate. Whether this money is going to go into just police and just um, them rebuilding their whole situation, or is it going to go into rebuilding our streets and rebuilding our schools, giving resources to the kids so that they don't have to end up being in the arms of the police, in the hands of the police. So knowing those things and learning those things, that changed a lot in me. It showed me that we have a lot of power ourselves. So when we talk about, things like consent, when we talk about um trying to change specific issues and trying to put our feet forward, don't lose hope about it, because you can literally band everybody together that's around you in your city, your town, and you can let everybody know, hey, we're going to vote for this person. We're going to put this person in office because I know, or we know, that they're here to support us, and that if they're in office, they're going to focus on um, things like rehabilitation rather than just locking us up. Um, so those are some of the things that I'm passionate about, and things like losing hope, regrouping, and really making sure your mental health is at a steady level can go a long way. And that's what's helped me out. So I want to know, what's some of the things that help you guys out when you have hardships? And what's some of the things that, when you feel it's getting difficult and feel it's going nowhere, what are some of the things that you do to help yourself out? Now, let me check out the chat again. I see somebody said, being born in among tradition household, I struggle a lot with finding my voice. I, it's crazy the things that you guys are bringing up right now, because these are all topics that uh, I've been hearing a lot about lately. I've been talking to a lot of different young people about lately. Being from uh, I'm personally, from the United States. I'm personally from Chicago, but one thing that really affected me was when Trump got elected. Um, the day after coming to school, I seen everybody shift. It's like everybody was affected in some way. And I started to see people who had, parents from different countries or that weren't necessarily legal citizens yet being scared and crying in the school and everybody just coming together and you know that that affected a lot of me because it showed me I already knew these people out here, but it showed me everybody can be affected by one thing. It's you got to keep compassion and keep be mindful of other people's feelings because we're all affected by what goes on in the world. You know what I mean? So uh being that we like I said, we all affect what goes on and we tell the story of what's going to happen in the future. We need to come together and we need to spread that love with each other. So I want to also, before we close out, because I know we may end up running a little out of time later. I want to ask if anybody has any questions for me first. Any questions or comments? You know what I mean? Anything that you want me to answer or you want to talk about really? Because I have more that I want to speak to you guys about, but I want to open that up first just so we can get some more conversation going. So if you have any questions for me, just go ahead, leave it in the chat or leave it in the Q&A. I'll be checking it out uh,
This
as we're
is
talking.
This is Steph, Ajani. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I spotlighted both interpreters and Ajani and made both interpreters co-hosts, but I think we might be having trouble with some folks seeing the interpreters. Can
Mm.
someone confirm that they see Anne right now side by side Ajani? Or if you hover over the option in the upper right-hand corner, you can click on Gallery View. Okay, so most folks can see. It seems like some folks can't. Um, all right, good, good. We do got a question in the chat,
Okay.
Q&A, Johnny. They're
Okay.
wanting you to name the movie again. It sounds
Yeah.
incredible.
So the movie that I'm featuring is called Judas and the Black Messiah, and it's about Chairman Fred Hampton from Chicago. And I urge everybody, I mean everybody in here to check it out. It's exclusively on HBO Max right now, and it's also still in theaters, I believe. So please go check that out if you can, because I've seen it probably 4, 5, 6 times already now. It gets better and better every time. And it's a really, really special story, empowering story. Um, I also want to touch on that. Fred Hampton was somebody that I grew up looking to. The Black Panthers in general were people that I grew up looking up to because they they realized that the power was in the people. What we were just talking about with knowing that you can locally do something that can affect the whole nation. That's exactly what they did. Whether it was Huey Newton and Bobby Seale in Oakland or the chairman Fred Hampton back home in Chicago, these people they brought their people together locally. They fed their children in their local communities and let everybody know, hey, we can do this. We can be the ones to make change where change is supposed to be made, where change is not being made at the moment by the people we put in place to make that change. So um I really urge, if you haven't already, to check out that film and even past the film, research people like Fred Hampton and the Panthers, because that gave me a lot of inspiration to see how much we can do ourselves to affect the whole world. Let's see if we have another question or some more comments. Johnny, you talked about the fact that a lot of kids go through hard stuff they shouldn't have to. What specific action do you think policymakers and decision makers can do to improve mental health and wellness for kids and families in your community? Well, that's a great question, first of all. Second, I believe there's numerous things we can do. Like I was talking about before with funding, that's something that I struggle with a lot, argue with a lot of people about a lot, is how we focus our attention in the communities and what we pour into. And the honest truth is, there's not enough poured into us. There's not enough poured into the young people coming up. And that's the reason why, we see a lot of problems and we see a lot of violence and hate where we should be having peace and love. I believe that one of the biggest things we can do is rebuilding. First, it's a small thing to a lot of people in their eyes, but I feel as though if you walking around neighborhood, if you walking around your city, and they're showing you they don't care about you by not fixing the same potholes that's been there for 20 years, by not giving you new textbooks in schools, new chairs, new supplies, by not showing that we care about you guys and we want you guys to be successful. How are you supposed to care about yourself? How are you supposed to see the worth in yourself when they're telling you you're not worthy enough to even have a proper education? You're not worthy enough to have food on the table, a decent shelter. Places like Flint that's still dealing with bad, and a lot of places, Chicago too, still dealing with bad water and things that are essential to human life that we just don't receive. So little things like that. Also rebuilding abandoned places and just vacant buildings and turning them into community centers for the youth, turning them into safe spaces where we can come together and we can know, okay, this is where love is spread. This is where we can come and we can maybe do our homework. We can help each other out with also our passions. If we make music, we can build a studio in here. If we love art, we can, all these things are things that I just feel like um are simple concepts, but there needs to be a lot done on the policy side to change these things. But I truly in my heart believe that it's possible. I believe that we can rehabilitate people and we can show people that you can have a stable and a peaceful community. So those are just some of the many things I feel like that needs to be done in the community to really change a lot of the ways that we grow up, because we see and experience things that kids and people in general should not see and experience. Let me check out another quote. I see more popped up quick. Let me see. Does the work you do restrict you from having a social life? And if it does it affect you negatively? That's a great question too. Y'all started off. Okay, let me see. I I don't I don't believe that my work restricts me from having a personal life, but I do realize that, and I realized from a young age that if you want to be in a certain position and if you want to get to where you're trying to go, you got to make certain sacrifices. Sometimes you got to say, I'd rather work tonight or I'd rather study this tonight than go out and party. Sometimes you got to say, I rather do great in school because I know that if I do that, I can get into this type of college, and I know wherever I'm trying to go. All of those different things are sacrifices that may be hard, but in the end, those are the things that put you ahead. Everybody is trying to get somewhere. Everybody is trying to better their situation in some way, especially in the types of communities that I'm from, and I know a lot of you may be from too. So with that being said, you got to work hard. If it's a million people trying to get to the same thing, you can't do the same amount of work that the other 999,000, however many people it is. You can't do the same amount of work that they're doing. Sometimes you got to go a level up sometimes you gotta put in that extra work and that extra effort to put yourself in a better position. And for me doing that from a young age, for me saying, I want to do acting classes, I want to start working on music, I want to just sit down and really hone in on my craft, that set me forward in a lot of ways for right now. So I would just say it doesn't restrict me. I feel like now I'm finding a good, really good balance in being able to say no to some things, being able to say, I just gotta take a mental break, or I gotta lay it down. And also being able to recognize when something should be sacrificed versus that thin line where it's like you're overworking or overdoing your part. So yeah, it's all about finding that balance, and that balance can be personal to you. You don't necessarily have to say no, I don't want to hang out with anybody at all, I don't want to do anything fun, because you don't have to do that. But you personally, I feel like everybody will know themselves, and they'll know, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or I am. So just trust yourself, and really check in with yourself to know that, so you can push yourself forward, and then also make sure it's enough space for you to just be cool and be peaceful in your own mind. Let's see. Is there something going on with the video?
Just wanting to make sure if folks can confirm in the chat that you're able to see Anne right now interpreting.
Everybody check it out, man. Can you see her? Can you?
And I
Everybody,
think, Ajani, your
I
bandwidth
see
might be
some
a
like,
little
yeah.
stretched. You're a little delayed, your audio.
Okay,
We've been able to make it out, but it seems like a little bit of delay there.
okay.
Let's see. Some folks can see the interpreter and some folks can't. If you cannot see the interpreter, folks, um, try to click in the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen and make sure that it's on gallery view. Gallery view. So you're going to want to click gallery view. And then also you can hover over the interpreter's video and there should be 3 dots and you can put pin interpreter, pin, and the interpreter will stay pinned for you. So try gallery view. Or if you're on a mobile device, you might be able to swipe left or swipe right. I hope that's helpful. Oh, it looks like some folks are saying it might not work on Chromebooks. Got it. All right. Apologies, folks. This will be recorded, so please know that even post-event, we will have this recorded, and on the recording version, it does have an ASL interpreter side by side of Johnny.
okay,
So we
cool,
will be
good.
making that available post-event. All right. We do got some more questions in the chat,
Okay,
Ajani.
cool.
One of them says, in your opinion, and those in the chat, what are some ways adults who work with youth can help youth feel more comfortable in their space? So what are some ways adults can make young people feel more comfortable in their spaces?
I think uh, a big thing that a lot of adults can do is, just check in with the youth, and let the youth let you know what's going on. It's a very complicated situation we have going on, with our communities, and with just trying to give our youth the space to grow the right way in the future. But I feel like it's a simple concept that there needs to just be more youth involved, and the the actions we take to affect us. Some people put together these situations, put together these events, and there's not enough of us having any type of power in the background or in the forefront. There's not enough people being listened to and really, um, you know, a lot of our opinions aren't heard. And that's the reason why it's really important for people with voices to speak up for the voices, because there's so many people who just don't get any attention, or don't get any care or patience. And that's a big thing too, just being patient. Some people will look at one kid like, he's doing this and this bad, he or she is doing this and this bad, and um, they'll just X them out, and completely feel like, they're worthless and it's hopeless. But a lot of people start off different from a lot of other kids. Some people start off in the streets. Some people start off doing bad things, and that may not necessarily be their fault. Some people grow up in situations where they're not getting enough love and they're not getting enough care. And like I said, those basic essentials to life, when you don't got a good enough shelter, when you don't have enough food on the table, and when there's so much going on in your community that you just, you just see, all you see is struggle, you you might just end up most of the time getting into something you might not should be into. You might end up making mistakes, and that's okay. We need to be more patient with the youth because we're young. We're still learning, and the human brain doesn't even develop fully until 25. A lot of us are forced to make decisions, that directly affect our future way before that time. When we're just kids. So I definitely believe that more adults need to do more listening, do more, just putting in the effort to pay attention to what we're actually saying, and then also being patient with us when we may make mistakes or go off the rails a little bit, and also just be a little different. Some people don't really like the music we listen to, or the way we talk, and all those things can make a gap between us, but there shouldn't be any gap, because at the time where these adults were kids, I'm sure the adults in their life didn't necessarily agree with everything they were doing. So that's all it is. I feel like there just needs to be more love and patience put into the youth in general. Let me see. Um, see what's going on in the chat. Everybody can see good right now.
This is Steph Ajani. I'm gonna try to make some folks that are on the Chromebooks panelists and see if there are options to pin the
Okay.
interpreters are available for them that way. So I'll keep
Okay.
trying on my end to help folks that for whatever reason on their devices are not able to see the interpreter side
Okay.
by side you. But we do got some more questions in the chat. Open to your consent for you to answer these too, Ajani. I know quite a
Okay.
few questions are coming at you, but one question is wondering what happened to your dad, or
Oh,
and then one was about like elections coming up,
right.
and elections already impact underrepresented communities. So what kind of work will you be doing to ensure young people vote despite the barriers?
Right.
Or rather, what would you suggest to engage young people? So feel free to answer any of those questions.
Okay. And you guys can ask me anything, man. I'm answering everything. I'll let you know. But yeah, my I know a lot of people have different types of relationships with their fathers too. So, my dad, growing up, we I wasn't necessarily around him all the time. Um, I was always back home in the Midwest with my mom or with my people. When I was young, I was a little independent, so I would be, with different family members and moving around a whole lot. So, as far as my, father figures in my life, we have a good relationship and everything. So it's just that my mom, she really, she was my parent for real. My mom made sure I was fed every day. My mom made sure that I had all that knowledge that I needed and everything. So, and that's why I give her so much credit and give her all the respect she deserves, because like I said, I don't know what I would do right now if I had a little human that I was solely responsible for, and she took on that responsibility um selflessly, and she said, I'm gonna make sure that he comes up and he knows that he can be something in the future, you know. So that that's my situation there. Now, as far as the upcoming elections, and not even just for presidential elections, or even not even just for elections for mayors, you know, people, a lot of us, like I was saying before, don't know that we can vote locally, and that we can have a big effect on what goes on locally. So one thing that I just suggest is people to spread that message to the youth, and to directly, you know, show show the youth, you know, how we can, not even just when we turn 18, but leading up to that point, all the different ways we can have a say in what goes on in our specific communities. Because I didn't learn that. I didn't know what an alderman was until I was later in my teens, you know, and I'm glad that I do now. And I'm glad that I have the opportunity now, since I just turned 18, to you know, have a say in what goes on, and actually you know, put my voice out there. But there needs to be way more direction for us, and way more people, you know, letting us know uh what we can do to help. Um Now I see another question that says, what advice do you have for when I'm interacting with someone whose views contradict mine? That's a great question. Now I truly believe that uncomfortable conversations, and you know, some conversations with people who may not necessarily see things the same way as you know, that's really important, because someone might not know necessarily what all you go through. They may have a perception of who you are based on stereotypes, or based on how who you are was presented to them. You know, and I'm not even just talking about race or anything like that. You know, we people can be from a certain type of community, and everybody in that area would just be looked at like uh, uh, thugs, or people who are destined to be bad in the future, but that may not be the case, and it's not the case, you know. So I think it's very important for people, for us to get those opinions out, and get who we are out there, because sometimes, you know, like I said before, we don't always have a voice, and we don't always have somebody to let the people know, hey, we need help over here. We need more resources over here. We need more, you know. And if you're having a simple conversation, you know, just one on one with somebody, and let's say they may view a president different than you view him, or they may view police brutality different than you do. You know, it's just important to let people know what the boundaries are. Let people know, you know, this is a conversation of respect, and we can respect each other while disagreeing. And if that can't happen, I suggest not wasting your time. You know, I suggest not, um, you know, being bring yourself down, and feeling hatred inside to just argue pointlessly, you know. But it's definitely important to shake things up sometimes, and to really disrupt the way things are going, and let people know what's going on, and your opinions and your views, because all of them are valid. All of us, the way we think is all important, you know. um let's see, does anybody have any more questions? That, like Stephanie, definitely protect your peace, for sure. I'll tell you guys, I you know, through being in the community and a lot of the work I do, I've had to have a lot of those conversations, and I had to teach myself really how to create those boundaries and when to know when a conversation is useful or important and when it's just arguing and bickering, because oftentimes I see a lot of conversations that lead to nothing, and I want everybody to know that just talking and just discussing the things, that's a huge step, but it's only one step. I'm not even saying it's the first or the second or which order. It's a big one, but you got to make those actions too. You got to act on what you're speaking on too, and I I went through you know, a lot of disagreements and contradicting conversations because I feel as though a lot of people just want to talk and just want to um, let people hear them and be the one that's saying something cool in the conversation, opposed to actually making some change, you know. So yeah, like Stephanie said, definitely protect your peace. Try to recognize and point out when things don't really have any importance and there's no point in keeping certain conversations going, but also know that it's important to change things and shift things and make things uncomfortable at times. Let's see, is there any more questions?
We've got another question here. From an attendee. It says, we got a lot of young people on the reservation that don't
Mhm,
have parents that step up to the plate like your mom.
mhm,
If we can't get parents involved with their own children, any suggestions on who to reach out to in a small community? Is
mhm.
it other youth, other adults, spiritual guidance?
Man, that's a. I'm glad you asked that actually because that's a big problem that I bring up to people all the time is that we judge the youth and we judge the ways that certain situations play out in our communities, not realizing, a lot of people are going through a lot of different things. A lot of people don't have mothers like I have, or don't have a stable situation. And that plays a lot into how a person operates, So oftentimes, when you don't have that love and that compassion given to you at home, you'll seek it out somewhere else. And whether that be with your peers, in a positive or a negative way, or a teacher in school, you know people, youth, they will reach out to fill a certain type of void, and sometimes we subconsciously do it. So specifically to youth, because I recommend to adults all the time what to do about this situation. I feel like we need to look at things more as a village. We need to take care of each child as if it was our own. We need to look at everybody like, if I uplift this kid might pour that same type of love and compassion into my kid. And then my kid, is we should just keep that love throughout all of us and realize that what we pour out into the world will come right back to us, and um, we need to do more things to support each other. But for the youth, if because I've dealt with a lot of different ways in my life where I feel like someone's missing, or I didn't get the support I needed from my family, with doing everything that I wanted to do. There wasn't many people in my family that believed, I could be an actor, or I could do something with music, or I could change something. But what I would suggest is, if you have friends, or if you have a teacher, or if you have anybody that actually supports you and actually shows that they care about you, don't shut them out. Listen to them, and realize that sometimes where things may be missing, you might have something else in your life to look at and to appreciate. So I know firsthand that things can get hard, situations can get tough, um, and a lot of responsibilities on young people are grown people responsibilities. But if you have anybody in your life already, don't overlook those people, appreciate those people, and utilize the resources that may be already around you to grow. Sometimes when we think about where we go, we want to go straight up to the top. We want to go straight to the biggest people and talk to them, when sometimes we could collaborate with the people around us to make a better situation for ourselves. If you want to make a short film or something, sometimes we might think straight to, let me go to a big production company, or let me go to a big actor, and sometimes you can start off by utilizing what's in your community already. There may be somebody who knows how to work cameras. There may be somebody who knows how to write scripts. And that collaboration, that networking with each other can really, really set you guys forward. Like, for example, when I was in school, I was I didn't agree a lot with the way that uh the curriculum was set up. I didn't believe that we should all just be stuffed in the same classroom and taught the same way, because we're all individually different. And, coming up, I would just, me and my few friends, I would just lock in with them, and we would make music, and we would just work hard on it. And doing that from an early start, that set me for when I started to get in studios, and I knew exactly what to do already, because I had been working on it so much already from a young age. So long to make a long story longer, I just want everybody, the adults, to spread more love to the youth as if they your own. And if you're a young person, you feel like it's something missing in your life, it's somebody that's not giving you the support that you should be getting, just don't overlook those people in your life that may want to give you that support, and don't push them out.
Mm. Thank you so much, Ajani. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And those are most of the questions. I want to make sure that we're able to share your video.
Okay.
So I've got your video pulled up.
Okay,
And
cool,
what
good.
I can do is I can share my screen and we'll watch the video. I have the closed captioning on, and my hope is that'll be all right. I know we let the interpreters know that we'll be sharing this video. So I'll turn the closed captioning on of the video. I'll share it, and then if you want to pull your video back on, Johnny,
Right.
so you could shut it down now, so I can share my screen, and then we'll bring you back on as soon as the video's over. Sound
Hey,
good?
cool, cool, good. All
All
right.
right. So let me go ahead and get this shared quick.
You know. It's the AJ, A&I, aiming for the sky. Yeah, said I'm aiming for the, yeah. I guess I'm obsessed with this big idea that I can change the world before I change my mind. I guess this a test, that's why I be up. Cause soon all these wrongs will surely be rectified. I gotta go harder, do my best, drink my water, get my rest. We bound to go farther, so I won't stress. And I got a queen that's too proud to protect. Plus my family, I did not plan to be the chosen one. No, I did not choose, but I won't back down, cause that's just the man in me. There's a reason why only I fit these shoes, so I'ma keep going, take my steps, do it to the moment that they take my breath. Can't take my soul, can't take my pride. I'm dedicated to live for the ones that died. I guess I'm so involved with it all, got me feeling real small. I know with my back on the wall, I just gotta stand tall. And I can have $1 minus 50, but that's power if you with me. So let me know, or let me go. And let me speak my peace, so let me rest in peace. Let me speak my peace, so let me rest in peace. Let me speak my peace, so let me rest in peace. Man, you know me, I lead a beast to cease. Let me speak my peace and let me rest in peace. Let me speak my peace and let me rest in peace. Let me speak my peace and let me rest in peace. Man, Ajani, he lead a beast. I guess I'm too vexed to see that I'm blessed with a great gift. I just gotta utilize it. I guess I'm upset because I wept, but ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of crying. I had to learn suppression ain't healthy. All on me, I'm the one that's gotta help me. When it get hard, when you stick to the plan, that'll separate a little boy from a man. I grew more than I needed, like I had a lesion. I was on defense, screaming and swinging, heartbroken pieces, but I'm not leaving. The whole gang need them, and that's the main reason. I'ma keep going, take my steps. You wanna share the moment, will be my guest, but you gotta be real for a peace of mind. Through the darkness, the name YJB will shine. Man, I guess I'm so involved with it all, got me feeling real small.
But you gonna shoot me in the elevator?
Feeling real small. I know with my back on the wall, I just gotta stand tall. And I can have $1 minus 50, but that's power if you with me. So let me know, or let me go. And let me speak my peace, and let me rest in peace. Let me speak my peace, and let me rest in peace. Let me speak my peace, and let me rest in peace. Man, you know me, I lead a beast deceased. Let me speak my peace, and let me rest in peace. Let me speak my peace, and let me rest in peace. Let me speak my peace, and let me rest in peace. Man, Ajani, he lead a beast deceased.
YJB. I'm tired for real though. Alright.
Man, the interpreter, that was that was amazing.
Oh, I love it. Thank you all so much. I'll pass it back over to you, Ajani.
Man, thank you guys. That video is called Speak My Peace. It's on my YouTube page. It's one of the 2 that I did dedicated to Tupac. If you notice, any of you like Tupac, the video was based on different movies and videos that he did. So you know, that's one of my favorite videos. I'm just mind blown by her interpreting all that. That was crazy. But yeah, thank you guys. Um, so yeah, are we well how much more time do we have left now, Stephanie?
Sure thing, Ajani. I'm thinking that we got about 5 more minutes and then
Okay,
we'll transition out of this space and invite folks back to the general session space
okay,
because we'll be doing a closing and things like that. So any last minute questions for Ajani? Maybe we could pull one more question and then we'll just closing messages from you, Ajani.
okay. Let's see, anybody got any more questions for me to answer? Let's see. Um
Any upcoming projects you're looking forward to, Ajani? Maybe that could be your last question before you share with us some closing messages.
upcoming projects. I I have a lot of stuff that I'm working on with music right now. I'm planning on putting out way more videos and way more content this year and the next year. So with that, just keep tuning in. If you haven't already, check out my YouTube page. It's under my name, Ajani, Ajani. My most recent video is Speak My Peace, and the video I also did dedicated to Tupac called Pain. Um, so yeah, go check that out if you haven't already. I got more coming up soon. And also, as far as the acting side, I don't got nothing I can tell you guys out loud right now, but I'm always working. I'm always striving, always doing auditions. So you guys just stay in tune. If you haven't already, follow me on social media. Instagram is Ajani, AJANI underscore YJB. Also, if you guys don't know YJB, as I said in the song, that's Yolanda Janine Ballard. That's the name of my grandmother who was murdered. So everything that we do, is dedicated to her and dedicated to her honor and everything. So yeah, like I said, everybody just stay in tune. I'll definitely be, tuning in with you guys. And yeah, man, I really appreciate you guys having me here. I appreciate all the questions, all the comments. You guys been real active today, so it's all love, man. Anything y'all got going on, any passions y'all got, just stick to it. Keep going, keep striving, and I'm already proud of you. Even if I don't know you, even if I ain't seen what you're doing, I'm already proud because you in here, and being in here lets me know that you want to make some type of positive change in the future. So it's all love, everybody. Thank you, man, for having me. It's been an honor.
Ajani, is there a quote that
Man,
you would like to close with or anything like that?
first of all, I appreciate the love. I see all love. Thank you guys. But a quote that I would like to close out with. Um, it's I want you to bring up the quote you bring up the other day. You said something like about when we heal and our
Mm,
ancestor. Can you, because I wanted to
yes.
ask you again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the quote that I shared on day one is a quote that we have on a lot of our Dare to Know t-shirts because it's part of the Dare to Know campaign. It's
Mm,
from Dr. Corinne Sanchez. She's an activist, Native activist, and Indigenous woman from New Mexico from Tewa Women United. So shout out Tewa Women United. Dr. Corinne Sanchez shares with us, as we heal ourselves, we heal our ancestors and we transform the future for our children.
mm.
As we heal ourselves, we heal our ancestors and we transform the future for our children.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that again because it
Absolutely.
stuck with me the other day. It just because I feel that's true. We gotta make the effort to be loving when it's easiest to be hateful, because doing that, like she says, it heals our ancestors, and then the kids that come up after us, they feel as though that's what is the cool thing to do. That's what we're supposed to do. So yeah, y'all. I appreciate all the love you guys are spreading. I'm gonna see y'all in the general room I'm coming into, and thank
All
you
right.
guys.